What's up, y'all? This is the Kingsman Podcast, episode 9. I'm so excited to be here. This is Reggie Anderson, Reggie of Reggie's Ribs. Yes, I like the way meat sweats on the grill, but I chose to give that a pause and get right over here with my co-host, Enoch Santiago. What's up, man?
Good morning, brother. How you doing?
Man, I am extremely grateful. Just dropped baby boy number 4.
Congratulations.
You know, baby Apollo. And my wife is a warrior. She's doing good, man. A couple days postpartum, she's doing good.
Good to hear that.
Unlike the other times, there's a lot of chaos.
Yeah, my biggest concern in that situation is Rocky, because Rocky is what I would call like, the baby, and like he embodies that. How's he doing being a big brother?
Not doing good at all. He's I thought it was just something that they say happens until I saw it live. This guy will not sleep in his own bed. Mm-hmm. He's waking up 2-3 hours. He'll stay in his own bed maybe 2-3 hours. He's definitely in my bed.
Because he was feeling it like the last 2 weeks before Apollo was here. He was just a little moody, a little emotional.
He's crying.
Yeah.
He's asking her to pick him up. And I'm like, Rocky, no, you're not going to sit on her belly. You're not going to be a baby while she has a baby. We're not doing that. And so, yeah, man, you're right. Rocky is it's funny because I think other people start talking to him like, oh, you got a baby brother. And so he's like, yeah, I got a baby brother. And, he's showing face as if to say, yeah, and we're going to be all right. But then he gets there and he's like, let me see my baby. All right. Off to do other things.
Right.
He doesn't sit with him at all. He doesn't touch him. He's not really looking at him.
They're going to be best friends. That's what's going to happen.
I think they will.
Yeah.
I think they will because Hakeem now is just now starting to get to the point where he's like, all right, well, he's my little bro and I'll protect him a little bit.
Sure.
Because at first it was like, get away from me.
Yeah.
But, yeah, baby boy number 4. So there's RJ, there's Hakeem, there's Rocky, and now Apollo has landed. I'm happy about that. And
congrats.
Yeah, thanks, man. But I just want to know, man, when do we become those guys? I mean, I know I got 4 kids now. I'm catching up.
Yeah, same. We're tied.
Catching up. We tied.
Yeah. So what's funny is Apollo was landed, and my oldest just went to the Air Force. That's it, to the moon. Right to the moon.
Okay, so when did we become those guys? You know what I mean? Those guys that are like, man, time is just moving too fast.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember being a kid, and I felt like, the time that we had was going to last forever.
Mm-hmm.
Now
like every summer was a Sandlot summer.
Every summer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now I just feel like New Year's, we get about 4 or 5 months, and then New Year's comes again.
Right.
I don't know, when time accelerates, if it's after your first kid or if it's.
I remember as a kid, you remember like having those friends that went to year-round schools?
Yeah.
I was like, that's like another universe, another dimension. Like, how do you not get 3 months off school?
Who does that?
And so, yeah, man, I feel like as a kid, time was definitely different. I remember having moments where when I was getting in trouble, I felt like it was the end of the world, but yeah, time's flying first class, as they say. And as you get older, man, I just saw this today. I saw on Facebook somebody posted about a guy I used to work with at the airport, and it said, happy heavenly birthday. And I was like, don't that mean he passed away? Yeah. And I'm like, how did I miss this?
Wow.
Yeah, it's just crazy. The older you get, it's just like those things just become normal, for lack of better words.
Yeah.
And I remember being probably almost 30 years old thinking no one close to me like has really passed away, like my dad's great aunt.
Really?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now it's just like people, it's happening, excuse me, and you didn't even realize it.
When did you first realize that time was not slowing down? Like it ain't stopping for nobody, and it is flying first class.
I think kids do that for you. I think kids, the first time that you spend any extended period away from like one of your kids, it's like you come back and it's like, whoa, like they're like a new level of a person, you know?
Yeah.
Or sometimes your kids just take these leaps. Like my youngest is 5 now, and just the questions he's asking, and I'm like, man, like you think things in your brain, like, you know, like you and it's the fourth one, but it's still a profound experience
Yeah.
as a person to realize that like this thing that once needed you for everything, you know, is like gonna be okay without you at some point,
Well,
and a lot sooner than you really want to.
I'll tell you one thing. As a parent now, it makes me really put into perspective that my mom was a parent at a young age, and she was like making it happen. She was making it happen, man. Like I thought she had all the answers. You know what I mean? And now I
Or
realize
she should have had all the answers,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I realize in today's time, man, you have to give your parents so much grace in their older years, because they're coming back around like, yeah, it probably was not the right thing to do. And I guess that's the real reason why they get better every kid at their parenting style. Maybe it switches. They go to what we call soft now, but they were hard, you know, back in the day. And dude, I realized my mom was like 22 having me, and she already had my brother.
That's crazy.
And my little brother came right after me. So she was under 23 with 3.
That's crazy. When my son was born, my wife and I are a blended family. So our oldest, we've been married 5 years now. But when my son was born, who's our second oldest, I was 24. And I remember when I first found out, I was like in a moment of shock. Just like, I'm serious. I was in a moment of shock, just like, okay, now I'm about to step into this phase of life that you never turn back from, you know, and just feeling the weight of the responsibility, you know. But what's crazy about that, my mom and my dad, my mom was 16, my dad was 20. They got married. It was in the 70s. And then
What a time.
my oldest sister was born probably a year later.
Uh-huh.
My mom was 17. You know, nowadays, and even when we were in high school, if you're 17, you got a kid, it's because, like, you're messing around, you're in high school. My mom was like, no, this is what I do now. Like, I'm a wife. Like, you know.
That's my profession.
Right.
Yeah,
And she took it seriously because by 25, they had 6 kids already. 7 pregnancies in 8 years, pregnant for a decade.
Nice.
A decade, you know.
Nice.
I said, should have bought some Netflix.
We got live running today. We'll take a couple questions at the end. But I want to ask you guys something out there. What's something that your parents did that just makes a lot more sense now? You know, tell us, shoot us the replies in the live, and we'll get back to that. But Enoch, let me ask you, man. Like, what's one thing that you know it just made no sense before you became a parent?
Yeah. So I have this vivid memory where, like, I realized I broke my mom's heart. I was probably like 8 years old.
Yeah.
And when I was working at the airport in my early 20s with TSA, there was an incident where this old couple had lost a watch on the checkpoints.
Okay.
They were doing an investigation. I was a supervisor, and the watch was gone. And so because I was a supervisor, I had to do a polygraph. Like
Wow.
2 occasions, 3 hours each after a 10-hour shift. And one of the questions they asked me, which I thought was like diabolical, have you ever betrayed the trust of somebody you love?
Oh my God.
Right. So that question, which I remember verbatim today, brought me back to when I was 8 years old. And as a kid, I remember one time I was like, clean your room. You know, all right, I'll clean my room. I'm playing on my baseball cards, basketball cards, whatever.
Yeah.
And she's like, all right, let me help you out. She's getting upset. She's like, you know, trying to be patient. And she goes under my dresser and finds these new pair of beige Dockers that she had just bought me. Like, all crumbled up. Underwear still inside of them, yeah.
Wow.
And she was pissed. And she was livid. And I'll never forget this. She goes, these pants cost me $44. I make $11 an hour. It took me 4 hours to earn these pants. And you got them crumbled up under this dresser. And my heart is broke.
Wow.
You know? And so as a parent today, I understand, man, like, you go to work, you know, or if you're in a business, and whether it's the hours you work or the deals you close, okay, I just paid for the rent. I just paid for the car. I just paid for, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And seeing it that way, whereas a kid, money just grew on trees.
Wow. We have a similar story. I think mine is going to be a little bit more dramatic, but pretty much same preference. And it's the fact that we're going over my aunt's house. My aunt would do something called a night out with the guys, right? And she would take me and all of my male cousins. It didn't matter if you had, you know, you were a single father household, single mother household. It didn't matter. She just wanted to get all of the boys and do like pizza and
That's cool.
video games, whatever. Like, you stay up all night, all good, right? So, man, it was about 7 of us. And we had a great time that night. She taught us a lesson the night before about being friends with each other and not depending on outside people to be, our friends. Like, hey, we don't have to go to school and make friends. You got friends. Your family can be your friend. So she was basically teaching us how not to be awkward and chase friends, right? And that it'll be okay. You're going to make friends naturally. Right. But until you do, here's your family, right? So anyway, had a great night. She made us all burgers, and we were like, oh, my God, these are so good. What's it called? She was like, oh, that's Cal, right? And so we were walking around saying, yeah, TT Mill made us Cal. Stupid, man. Anyway, that morning, as everyone's leaving, my auntie was cleaning up, and I don't know if she had the money on her or if it was just somewhere else, maybe sitting up on a shelf or something, and while she was cleaning it, it fell down. It was $100, $100 bill. I had never seen a $100 bill in my life, and I thought it was like, oh, this money's up for grabs. Yeah. Everyone's leaving, and I'm behind me and my cousin. I won't say his name, but it's just me and him. And he's walking ahead, and he doesn't see the money, but he sees me reaching down for something. So I reach for it, I grab it, I put it in my pocket real quick. Now, this is my aunt's house. Even if it wasn't hers, it's hers, right? I was just so young. I cannot even remember how young I was at the time. I possibly could have been 8 or 9. But I put the money in my pocket. I said nothing about it. I left. I'm just like thinking in my mind everything that I'm gonna do with this $100. And because we did grow up the way we grew up, we didn't have video games. We didn't have consoles. We barely had toys, to be honest. We like played with each other. Like, we made things. We drew and stuff like that. And so I'm thinking about everything I'm gonna do with this $100. And then my aunt calls my mom. She's like, somebody took $100 from out of this house. And I was like, that is so crazy. This is one day. I'm just like, man, I really do hope she finds that $100 that someone took, because I found this $100.
Right.
Couldn't be the same $100.
Impossible.
And it couldn't be. And I think even at a young age, I was so delusional that I felt like it couldn't be the same $100.
Yeah. God blessed me with this $100.
Yeah, it's no way that this $100 that is for her rent I have in my pocket.
Yeah.
And so time goes on. I can hear her crying about it over the phone the next day after she just couldn't find it, and she cried to my mom and was saying, I just don't know, how I could do that. And it was for her rent. And the accusation came up that the cousin that left out literally right before me, that he stole it. So at that point, his mom, who is married into the family, or was married into the family at that time, she's livid, because she understands that he is the odd man out. He's not usually on these, these trips with us to TT's house. He's like the new guy even though we're all family. So her assumption was that he took it, and he swore up and down, but he kept the integrity of not telling on me until he called me. I was like, look, bro, I ain't saying you got to say it was you, but you got to say it wasn't me. And from there, I actually had a conversation with my auntie, and much like you, she broke it down to me and said, I make $10 an hour. It took me 10 hours to make that 100 to go along with my rent. That, if we don't make the rent, then I'm outside, your cousin is outside, we're outside, your uncle is out, we're all outside. And I was just like, I can't believe that I almost really thought that I had some money and I was going to spend it and take that away from you, because now you're telling me how hard you had to work to get it and what it meant to you. Yeah. And I had never thought I would ever betray her in that way. Obviously, she's like, the favorite aunt. She's everyone's favorite. But I think at that time, the lesson to me wasn't what it took for her to make it. It was that you don't lie to your family.
Mm-hmm.
You don't, that like money can't turn you into a liar. And so from that like literally that moment in my life, I don't know, nearly 30 years later, I just don't steal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because there was a person who was so close to me that I felt like I could never get the trust back. Now, I mean, today, if you ask her about that situation today, she'll probably tell you it's water under the bridge. She couldn't care less about it, and that she knows that it was a growing experience for me. But I think about it all the time. I mean, I love my auntie so much, and I want to instill that in my children too. I'm not gonna like force them to steal something, but I mean, I just want
to set them up.
Yeah, set them up to see if they would,
like
have
remember
integrity.
back in the day on the CTA train, the cops would put a marker there and just sit next to it, and just hope that you would, just write your name on the wall. Just go ahead and tag it up real quick.
We want to see if this fits.
Right.
But yeah, man. So, I know currency changes. Younger men chase money.
Mm-hmm.
Older men start protecting time. And then you begin to ask yourself, is it worth it instead of can I afford it? So let me ask another question out to our audience. What's something that the younger you value that the older you doesn't really care about anymore? Y'all tell us, we'll talk about it. Enoch, let me ask you, man.
I think, man, I don't know if I can speak for a lot of men, but I feel like other people's opinions got to be one of them.
Well, that's intangible, man. Talk about something tangible. Well, expound on that first, but then let's talk about something tangible.
I mean, I just think, the whole peer pressure, you're talking about younger, depends how young you go, but like I can remember grade school, high school.
Yeah.
You're trying to find out who you are and like what kind of group you fit into and having a greater identity. That's why I think a community is so important, especially for young men.
Oh, yeah. Because
if they're given an identity and if they're a part of something bigger, then they're a lot less susceptible to falling into the wrong crowds. I remember being in high school. My high school wasn't like very gang filled or nothing like that. I went to Von Steuben.
Okay.
Famous for not having a football team at all, but very high school very cliquey.
Mm-hmm.
You had your jocks, you had your goth, you had all these different groups or whatever.
Every high school.
And I felt like I could like naturally flow. Not that I was like super gothic or super jock by any means. But I was cool with everybody, and I didn't find one group that I consistently clung to. I kind of felt like I was on the outside and I was okay with that, and I feel like a lot of times we've even seen that in the gang worlds, where they'll hang out around schools looking for these kids that don't have that support system to try to provide that level of that feeling of belonging and community, so I think that at a very young age, it feels very important to value what other people think. I don't think that's a bad thing.
Absolutely.
I think that's what you use to create a community, But as you get older, it's just worrying about other people's opinions that don't really care too much about yours is useless,
That's true. That's true. I got a tangible one for you. Jays.
Jays, okay.
Jays. I mean, when I was younger, Jordans were in. Jordan's been in since '91.
Yeah. What was your first pair?
My first pair of Jordans were, can't remember. Yes, I can. It was a pair of 13s. Black and red, little bubble on the side, little holographic bubble, right? It was cool, pretty cool. But I can remember how I felt about them back then versus how I feel about them today. And back then, I thought it was such a valuable shoe because it was the most comfortable shoe. You got to get these shoes; they're the most comfortable. And that's that's so far from the truth. Some of them, which they're not all created equally, some of them do have a very comfortable fit. But I can name at least 10 pair of shoes that are way more comfortable than wearing a Jordan. Is the Jordan shoe fashionable? Yes. But in today's time, I could care less about it. And so I teach my kids that now. Because if they want a pair of J's, I'll get them. But I won't have them, killing themselves over it, obsessing about it, and more importantly, wanting to be the guy because you have every pair.
Right. I mean, I think that plays into that, right? So remember the marketing, the tagline, want to be like Mike?
Be like Mike, yeah.
Right? So the J's are about how it made you feel. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I get it.
I don't know. There's a short list of people that embody cool better than Michael Jordan. You're just a cool guy.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
And so, like, you want to be like Mike. You want to feel like that. You want to walk into a room and get just assumed respect or something along those lines. That's what the Jays represented. I remember my first pair.
What were they?
So actually, shout out to my guy Victor. Victor met in high school, like a big brother to me. Gave me my first pair. So I don't know what number they were, but they were beige. It was suede. They had a zipper that went up the side.
Okay.
And they came in like this metal case. And I remember that he lived in Portage Park. I was in Belmont Cragen, and I was on a bike.
Oh.
And I had he's like, hey, I'm gonna give you these, right? Because he got a new pair, and I was like, this is like I felt like $100 bill. I was like, this is giving this to me. And I think part of the allure is that I felt like it made me more valuable. You know what I'm saying? Because I got these.
Yeah.
I put these on and I walk into a room. Like now I'm worth more. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I remember being on the bike and my handlebars like being super like, because these shoes were
shaky.
The case by itself was something legit. And riding all the way from Irving Park all the way down to Belmont, just being scared I was about to get jumps.
Yeah.
And wore the heck out them shoes.
Yeah.
Everywhere. If
Every
I was going
day.
to church, if I was hooping, it didn't matter. Like I was Mike.
Those colors didn't even match with what you had on.
It didn't have to.
Didn't have to.
It didn't have to.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
But back then versus today, if I want a pair of J's, I'll think about it like, I guess I'll get them.
Mm-hmm.
But I also, if I see a pair of, some New Balance, your boy might grab on those New Balance.
Yeah.
I wear a pair of Nike. I don't even remember the name of them, but I bought them. They got like the holes in them. They're like ortho shoes.
Yeah.
They look like Yeezys, but they're not.
Mm.
I don't know if you want to call them Yeezys, Nike.
I see what you did there.
Nike Yeezys.
Okay.
Yeezys?
Yep.
I don't know. They're nice though. And I bought my wife a pair. They're her favorite, slides now. So comfort is over everything now.
Yeah.
So that's that. Man, but yeah, man, I used to think adults had all the answers. I did. Turns out they were just confident guesses. The older I get now, the more I understand why my dad, just sat in silence. There are a lot of things to figure out, and I swear 2020 was last year.
Mm-hmm.
COVID year.
Yep.
It's like the last time anything real ever happened.
It's like a year zero.
Yeah.
What before and after.
But everything is faster now. You know what I mean? Like food, food arrives fast. AI answers questions fast. Day naps, you swipe left or swipe right. Right? Social media.
Get your heart broken faster.
Yeah, everything. But yeah, so now with all that being said, with all of these things being so fast, why do we feel more disconnected than ever?
Well, because I think real relationships take time, So like one thing that I really believe in, and I've learned this particularly in business, is that business is built on relationships. Relationship is built on trust.
Sure.
And trust is only found through trials. I don't know how loyal you are until we've had some kind of friction.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
And like, even like I look at, our relationship, we go back a little bit before COVID and we've had our moments of contention.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like if you don't have those things, you don't know if a relationship is loyal or not. So with that being said, you have to go into a relationship not only expecting conflict and friction, almost looking forward to it, because it's the point of time where you get to understand or realize if this relationship is loyal or not.
Mm-hmm.
And so people don't take the time to allow those things to manifest. And that's why, like, you don't have any real connections because you never gone through no stuff together. You know what I'm saying? Because everything is shortcuts, and people are so quick to just like move on to the next. You never spend time really building something with somebody.
Absolutely.
And you have to go through those trial periods. You have to go through those stresses, those stress tests in relationships, because that gives you the confidence to know that, like, okay, this is tried and it's true. Because if you don't have those moments where something's tested, then you can't tell if it's real or not.
I have to quote a famous philosopher.
Oh boy.
It explains why most people die not knowing who would have stuck by their side.
Okay, you rhyming now.
It doesn't even cross their mind. They just go along for the ride. They'll never know their friends' decisions. Friends never had to decide. Oh, that was tough.
That's deep.
Yeah, plot twist.
Look at that.
I'll never sees the cage.
I was waiting for the outline.
Yeah, but that's a real thing, and that actually is true. If you can't have a crucial conversation with your friend, it's probably not your friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know in today's time, like the skills that you have make the man that you are. And so some skills that we probably picked up early translated well into our older life, but it's because of what we were, kind of being guided towards back then. In today's time, I feel like more parents are being more hands-off, and now the skills are not transferring.
What kind of skills are you referring to?
I mean, a lot of things. Social skills.
Okay.
You know what I mean? For one, social skills. If you don't have social skills, you're socially awkward. And you can have the frame of mind as to where it's like, yeah, I'm to myself. I don't really.
I'm introvert.
Yeah.
You give yourself a label to make it feel like it's okay.
Yeah. But it's not. You should have a skill. You should be picking up a skill. I personally feel like before the age of 25, every man who's willing and capable should know how to change a flat tire.
Right.
If you don't have the tools to do it, that's cool. But you should know how. You should have the capability to. You should see how it's done. It doesn't matter if you're poor or rich. Doesn't matter. Like a rich man on the side of the road with somewhere to go will figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
A rich man on the side of the road, he's got some time, he can call, whatever, right? But if you got somewhere to be and you know that 15, 20 minutes you can knock it out and get it done on your own, you should know how to do it. Some men don't know how to do it. Mm-hmm. So what's a skill that you would say before 25 should be a skill that young men should learn?
Like, okay, so people correlate hustling with making money.
Right, that's true.
Okay, I don't. I correlate hustling with being able to save money.
Ah, that's nice.
Because if I can have it and act like I don't,
that's tough.
To me, that's a skill you should develop.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying? And so, it took me maybe deep into my 20s to realize that I used to be really, really bad with money. I used to, if I would get paid, Reggie, tomorrow, and I had $1,000 in my account today, I had to get rid of it. It's like this new money couldn't touch the old money. It's like water and oil. It was a weird thing I had. And my two vices, this is tough. Like, 20-something years ago, was Barnes & Nobles and Best Buy. Like if I had the 10-year anniversary edition of Reasonable Doubt, I didn't have the deluxe version with the extra acapella version of the song of the B-side. You know what I'm saying? And I spent $20 to get it. So I'll tell you how.
Well, I can't knock the hustle.
Yeah, hey, there you go, case in point. But I'll tell you that switched for me, right? So I remember one time I got paid. I was still part-time working at the airport, and I would do overtime just to make $1,000, just to like, for no reason, just to say I made $1,000 take home, right? Yeah. I got paid $1,000. Okay. Saturday morning, hit my account, about to go to my car and go about my day. Well, there's a boot on my car.
Nice.
Right? Good old Chicago. And
gotta love it.
That boot cost me $700. So now I got $300. I already live check to check, right? And now I have 2 weeks to live off 30% of my check. You know what I'm saying? So I thought it was the end of the world. And when the 2 weeks passed, I was like, man, like
I made it happen.
Right? Or God made it happen, right? I didn't know how to make it happen. Right. But my point is this. I look back, I said, man, if I could do that for Chicago, why can't I do that for me? Why couldn't I have taken $700 and act like I didn't have it?
That's perspective.
You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
And so then I started like, putting things in order in my life in a way, because I really, really believed that if I was ever going to buy something that cost $4,000, I had to like make and get a deposit of $4,000 one time, because nobody saves money. Like I thought it was impossible. You know what I'm saying? Like that was my money blueprint. Yeah. So I think it's an important skill, is being able to have something, like have a good reason to use it and just don't. Yeah. And just don't.
That's good, man. That's good. So let me ask you, if you could talk to yourself 10 years ago, what would you say?
Talk to myself 10 years ago.
Like what lesson cost you the most money? I see that was one of them. The boot. What lesson like cost you the most time? What were you completely wrong about? Something along those lines.
Man, I would say, it pays a lot to consistently be a student. it pays a lot to continue to be hungry. You talked about skills. The first thing I thought you meant was like money making skills.
Sure.
You know, and when you mentioned social skills, like, okay, yeah, let me broaden my viewpoint here. But I think it's really important to broaden the ways that you can make money. You know, I remember being in my late 20s, about 7-8 years into my first career at the airport, thinking this is the only way I make money, and I don't know how to otherwise. Like, and not in any significant way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, there's a couple of people that I follow on YouTube in regards to business, and one of the things that I'm hearing a lot is people get to 40 years old, 50 years old, and they feel like they're so far behind.
Yeah.
But you are in the biggest money making years of your life
Absolutely.
at 40, because you know so
Absolutely.
much, the network you've built up, you know, all those things. And so I just think that being more intentional about like, what can I get better at? And I think, you know, the skills that you acquire should, I think it translates to like the value you can bring to your circle, your community, you know, the marketplace and things like that.
Yeah.
So I think being really intentional about those things is important.
I know for sure one lesson that I know money or success couldn't teach me alone is the fact that when you're on your own, you may feel like you've got a measure of success that is, you know, insurmountable to other people around you, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not, because there's always another level. And for example, one of our mentors said, cool, you make $100,000 in this room. That's a lot. Now let's move to the next room. Are you making $1 million? Yeah, I'm making $1 million. Okay, great. Let's move to the next room.
Yeah.
And now in this next room, the minimum to get in is 100 million. You've got 10.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're only as great as the room that you're in. And so being alone and you're making this much and you're the King Kong of this one place, you may have people around you who you keep them around you because you're the King Kong of that place.
Yeah.
And man, like, life taught me that, no, you constantly have to start getting uncomfortable and being in places where you're not the top guy. You're not the end all be all. You're not, you know, it gets bigger and better after what you got going here. So continue to strive for another level. And I would tell myself 10 years ago that, hey, where you are now is only just the beginning.
Yeah, and one thing that
Only
I'll
just the
say,
beginning.
one thing that I'll add to that, I think that's 100% true. But you know, one of the men that I look up to a lot is, you know, doing really well for himself, runs a company, and he mentioned that as you're navigating life and you're going from one level to the next, and you could talk about finance-wise and whatnot, but you got to also know when you're called to move to a level, because there's people that will draw you to the next level and ask you to compromise your values to do so.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Oh,
and
yeah.
and those temptations are going to be there, and so you have to be aligned and attuned with what God wants you to do and when He wants you to move.
I love
and
that.
you can't be allured to the next level, you know, outside of that alignment, because it's going to cost you in the long run. You know, and so you got to be okay sometimes sitting at where you're at, sometimes even going backwards.
Wow.
You know,
That's
because
big. That's big.
you can't always only just keep chasing the next move, because if that's your drive, then you can be thrown off track, so to speak.
Society gives us that blueprint all the time. All the time. So, like, what I want to ask is, what has society completely got backwards now in today's time?
I mean, okay, I won't say everything.
Well, I mean, like, being busy isn't the same thing as being productive.
Sure.
That type thing.
I think, okay, here's what I think society has gotten backwards. I think the family unit is completely backwards. This idea of me over we, I think that you're seeing now, I'm in a blended family, right?
Sure.
You're seeing a lot more times where the relationship between a man and a woman, that lifelong commitment, I think is so pivotal to society that's backwards.
Absolutely.
Right. And so, like, even in my marriage, my wife and I are very intentional, and we love our kids and we'll do anything for our children. But the order has to be correct.
They come second.
Because they're going to leave one day, but you want to build a foundation that they want to come back to, you know? And I think a lot of people have that backwards. that order of relationship.
I do anything for my kids. My kids first. My kids come first.
Yeah, like this person can just come and go, but that shouldn't be an option.
Yeah.
There should be a lifelong commitment. With very very few reasons as to why it's not. So I think that's a big thing.
Mhm.
We see the ripple effect of the displacement of fathers in households today, in communities. I mean, we can get into a whole discourse
Sure.
about like the masculine man and how that deterioration has
yeah.
impacted.
Oh, yeah.
What's
We're
going
going
on
to talk
in the
about
world.
that later on tonight. We actually have the Live Meetings podcast, Network and Social. We're going to have out Steven Evans.
Excited about that.
Yeah, man. He's the owner of Heat Sauna. It's crazy, crazy experience, man. I actually got to go to sit in one of those saunas.
You got your feet rubbed?
Oh, yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. It was crazy. You know what? I won't ruin it for anyone, but we're going to have some very special giveaways tonight at the Live Social. So I can't wait for that. But yeah, man, that what you just said was like right spot on. It's spot on. And we can definitely talk more about that. We can go on and on and on about that, the displacement of roles and things in the household and today. But just some simple things are like being busy isn't the same as being productive.
Mm-hmm.
Having followers isn't the same as having influence.
Mm-hmm.
Looking successful, here's a big one. Looking successful is not the same as being successful.
Yeah.
And I think society, social media, society has given it to us in that way. How do we get back?
Yeah. Well, one, I think, is realizing that social media is not society.
There
Social
it is.
media is
There it is.
the loudest portion of a minority of society, and like a distorted lens and viewpoint of how society wants to be portrayed, or how the algorithm wants you to think it wants to be portrayed. You got to get outside. You got to meet real people. You got to build a real community. You got to, touch some grass, as they say.
Sure.
To realize that, what you see on your phone is not the real world. So I think that's the first important thing to really realize and to be conscious about.
If your son became exactly like you tomorrow, like exactly, what will make you proud and what will make you nervous? Enoch?
That's a deep question.
Yeah.
And I got two of them. Exactly like me, what would make me proud, I think, and what would make me nervous?
Yeah.
Okay. Man, that is deep, because you're framing it like my son, but you're talking about me. I think one thing that my oldest son is doing very well.
Yeah.
He has an entrepreneurial spirit well before I ever did. And so if there's anything that I could add to that, it would be learning how to find a lane and stick to it. That's one thing that I've done. I've had 2 careers in 20-something years.
Yeah.
So that'd be one thing. What would make me nervous? I guess I kind of speak to a similar thing. He's very ambitious at
Sure.
a young age, and I don't know if I was as ambitious. He just got a job at Navy Pier, right? So I wasn't working until I was like 19, and because my mom was
He's
like
15, 16. Okay.
Yeah, 16.
Oh, yeah.
So I would be nervous if he wasn't as daring, and just willing to go out there and try new things and pivot and adjust. I think that's a great quality that he has.
Yeah. So for me, I've got 4 boys, and so far, and I think about the younger ones. I do, but I think about RJ the most. Yeah. Kids turning 13. He's taller than everyone. He's again blackity black. I'm looking at this whole, Carmelo Anthony situation, and I won't get into it, but just to think that things like that can even be in today's time, that a young kid could be sentenced to what?
35 years?
35 years for something like that. And then a week later or, 2 weeks later, someone else does it, different type of skin color,
Mm-hmm.
and they get probation. They get, a 10-year sentence thrown at him, only serve, a percentage of that, like all of those things being on the table, man, is this better? Is this situation different than this situation? No, only that the person is different.
Yeah.
Right. So I think about those things, and even though we have my son in a better neighborhood, doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Crime happens everywhere.
Yeah.
And then the fact that I have to think crime at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The fact that I even have to try to address these things with my son when I know other people don't. They never have to have that type of talk with their son. But the reality is that since he has his height, he looks the way he looks, man, the sweetest guy you'd ever meet.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't know that because all you see is, oh my God, this man is huge. He's still a kid. He's 12 now, in fact. And some people are like, how old is this guy?
Mm-hmm.
He's 12.
Yeah.
So one thing that would make me proud about RJ is the fact that he's a lot more quiet than I was.
Mm-hmm.
The way I grew up going to school, I was still looking to make friends. Even though I understood my situation wasn't always the most favorable to make friends, meaning that I didn't have the J's, I didn't have cool clothes. Most times, I went to school wearing smelly clothes, not because I didn't wash myself, but because our clothes were still damp from washing and drying our own clothes in the house, right? And so I didn't have the most favorable, situation to be going out and making new friends, but I always tried to make the best of that. I think it gave me some character, right? Mm-hmm. But him, he's different, a bit more stoic, right?
To himself.
To himself. But I'm proud of the way he carries himself. He cares about people. He has a heart for people. He really likes basketball, and if he became exactly like me, and he wanted to build a relationship and he wanted to start talking to people, I think he would have the perfect setup. Because so far his name is great. He's a great person to people. Mm-hmm. And he's got good habits. He still listens. He's not a rebellious child.
Yeah.
And that will make me proud about him, that he has both a stoic side and a side that allows him to go out and be a great people person. That will make me very proud. Now, one thing that will make me nervous. Remember, I said I didn't have the most favorable situation. He is still very much so a ladies' man, lady magnet. Yeah. And they like him, and he's like, that's cool. Like, I'm good. And I'm like, when I was 12. If a girl even look my way, I'm hooked. Like, they got me.
Yeah, she's the one.
Yeah, she's the one. She's definitely one. But I'm nervous for him.
Yeah.
In that regard, you know what I mean? Because he's like, I'm cool. Like, I'm good. Like, that means nothing to him. But he's handsome, and he's like more attractive because he doesn't.
Right.
Really, I'm nervous about that. I know it sounds silly, but some fathers out there that'll understand. But yeah, man, that's a wrap for us. Enoch, got anything?
Man, hope to see you guys tonight. Check out the next live event. Nothing like getting out the house.
Absolutely.
Building those relationships, those connections. I think is really important, especially for the men in our communities today.
One of the things that we've been striving for with our live network and social is to just have a strong man see another strong man and say, he gets it. Yeah, that guy really gets it. We've had different speakers come out, from teachers to ministry leaders, executive vice presidents, even people who run a multi-million-dollar business. And they all pretty much have the same words of encouragement, but they also have the same amount of good advice to give when it comes to being a man in today's time, and having family and leading your household and making smart financial decisions.
Right.
So we want to keep that going. Pretty soon, we won't be able to just have it here in Naperville.
Yep.
It's going to be all across the U.S. Let us know if you want to join our networking socials and you're anywhere around the Naperville area, Chicago, Bolingbrook, Bellwood, Maywood, whatever. You're within a 10-mile, 20-mile radius, get here. You got to get here. But we're going to have a special offer tonight at our live event, and we'll be looking to branch out and make the Kingsmen Social more of an experience that touches down in a city near you. We can't wait for it. But until then, and the Kingsmen said, "Ahoo, ahoo, ahoo." See you soon.